Alright, so we are here at the Raritan Valley Hi-Railers with Matt Sniffin for that summertime update of their this module they've been working on. And he's got a lot done. I'll tell you that. He's got a lot of details going on here. And so we have this this workshop, and he just pointed out there's Dakman right there. It's just hard to believe the details that you got into this, Matt. I mean, the amount of work that you put into this since I've been here last. This is all rough. This is all the black.
Yeah, well, when last time you were here, all this building looked like that one. And yeah, I spent probably a month finishing all the trucks.
Okay.
Because those are all just new Ray trucks. So the service truck that you're looking at right now, that was actually a new Ray bucket truck, just like the one that's in the bay there. I knew I wanted a service truck that had like the doors open, cabinets open, so you could see inside. Unfortunately, the only companies that really make service trucks that I could find were Sword, which, I mean, anybody who knows anything about diecast, the Swords, they're like $500-600 bucks. I mean, some of them were up to like $1,000.
Jeez.
I'm like, I'm not spending that kind of money. These things are $20.
Yeah, yeah.
So I bought another bucket truck, hacked it apart, basically modified the whole cabinets and everything in the back. I did buy the 3D printed utility crane, 3D printed air compressor, and Miller welding machine, but everything else is pretty much scratch made, including the toolbox that's opened. It's all just styrene. And then just detail parts that you can actually buy from Diecast Direct.
And who did the crane and the Miller welding machines come from? Do you remember?
Something I can't remember. So I got them on eBay. So if you literally just go on eBay and put in the search engine 148 scale utility crane, 148 scale air compressor, all that stuff comes up. That's how I found them. I forget the name. It's the same company made all three. I can't remember their name, and I apologize if you watch this video that I can't remember. I'm usually pretty good about remembering.
Yeah, you are.
But it was one of those where I was in I literally sat on my computer and bought like 50 things that night on eBay.
Okay.
So it was. I don't remember that particular one.
And for those who remember, Dakman is a real-life diesel mechanic or tech. I'm actually a foreman of a truck shop. So, what is my job on the Raritan Valley Hi-Railers truck shop?
You're the supervisor.
Oh, okay. That works.
But here you actually have a truck lift.
yeah, that's that's nice. I liked how you added the little tiny lights.
So those are all Evan's designs. I get all of my LEDs from him. I get all of my incandescents from Minitronics, and I get all of my LEDs from Evan's design. So those aren't chip. I think those are nanos.
Nanos
that I use,
in the back.
Yeah, those are nano lights.
Okay. That gives everybody an idea of what a nano light looks like at least.
And then all of these floodlights that I make, those are all Deca size LEDs in there that I light them with. And then the fixtures actually come from Harbor Models.
Oh.
So it's a company again I found online that they actually make parts for scale model boats.
Okay.
So that's where I get the and then I just have to. So it just comes with the lens and then the lens cover. So you have to any type of the arm and everything all has to get fabricated out of styrene.
Yeah. This is great.
And then the air conditioning unit on top. That's actually a laser cut out of it's a company called ITLA. They're out of Canada. So they make all different kinds of little detail parts. And, I mean, nice company, nice stuff. When you get it, here's some of the stuff here. It just comes. That's all like boxes and stuff. There's the company there.
Okay.
Yeah, ITLA scale models.
I never heard of them.
Huh. Yeah, they make some all different kinds of, anything you think, all kinds of different vents and stuff.
Wow.
So that's where the air conditioning units came from.
Well, this is good information for the viewers who want to, take a crack at, building their own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they go together easily. You just use a little CA glue and just paint them up afterwards.
All right. Well, let's take this camera off this stick here. Sorry if it's going to get shaky, but I'm unscrewing it because we got to get a closer look at what you did interior-wise in this building.
So this is, remember, so this little bridge that I built, this has got the piping that comes over that has the steam and then the return, pipes. So obviously the red handles would be the steam coming in, the blue are the returns. But that's what powers the turbines that actually produces the electricity.
Okay.
So if you remember the last video, those turbines, so those were from Shapeways.
Right, yeah.
So those, they were just white last time, so I painted them and a, like a mechanical green. You see a lot of machinery that color.
Right, yeah.
And then I added, so you can see each little control panel. I painted the control panels, added a light at the control panel. I got a little scene in there where you got guys in there, actually working on one of the turbines. And then you can see the wires that come off the transformers that actually go then underground and go to the distribution area. The only thing I did realize after doing this is I should have oriented this building on that side because all the power distribution is that side. So, but nobody's going to really know. This should have been here and that should have been there.
Okay, well, like you said, nobody really, I mean, I wouldn't know that.
I have well, it's just because it's usually in line. Like coal comes in, goes to the boilers produce the steam goes to the turbines turn produce the electricity, and then out to the distribution grid. But that's fine. Right now I've been working on the bridges. I did that bridge yesterday. I'm working on the main bridge, it's conveyor pipe. I did that little conveyor bridge, and they all have lights on them. Everything's lit. It's just they're not tied into the main power bus yet.
Yeah, quite far.
I did. Well, I tackled things that I knew I could get. So basically, those 3 modules are done, except for the scenery. I've got to do like the landscape scenery and the ballast, but the buildings and everything and all the electrical is all tied into the bus. This module, I know, is going to take a long time because of this building and everything. So I'll probably be most of the summer working on this one module. But I've been just doing little detail things. So this was another ITLA, piece. It's a little access thing to get up on the roof.
Okay.
This water tank is actually all scraps. It's a tin can that had peanuts in it. I put wood around it. Did a little, roof on top. It's got a little flashing light. It's actually got 3 little chip lights here that light up the Giuliano Power Company. This sign is lit. There's lights that actually come in. There's a little strip light underneath that comes in there and lights that sign up. So it'll be this will be a very lit bunch of modules.
Wow. Okay. So you think this will be done in time for the next...
No, the August show, this won't be in anyway because one of our other members asked if he could have his modules in it. So if we are we haven't gotten confirmation yet for the August show, but if we are in the August show, these won't be there. I don't think they'd be done by then anyway. If I needed them, I would have taken them as they are.
Okay.
But these I'm shooting for the November show.
Oh, all right. At least everybody gets to see, get a heads up view of what they might, what they're going to look forward to at the.
Yeah, it's hard to appreciate it from the video. Like I post stuff on our Instagram all the time, progress, and there's a lot of people that follow from this area who go to the shows, and they're all like, it looks great, but boy, I can't wait to see it in person.
Yeah, I mean, you really have to go to the show in person to really enjoy Your whole layout, the whole layout of the Raritan High Valley, Raritan
Hi-Railers.
Valley Hi-Railers. Yeah, thank you.
It's a mouthful. Say that 3 times fast.
Yeah. Well, it didn't help that I spent all day at a truck show yesterday, and I didn't get home until late.
Did you race your truck?
No, it's actually in the paint shop right now. I just wanted to go to the show to see what was there, and this was actually this show was in McCundry, Pennsylvania. I actually made a video on it, which should be out about 10 o'clock.
I've been to the car show there.
Have you?
Yeah. Hal and I, one of the members, we went to the car show out there last year. That's a huge park that they have that thing in.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about that park, where he goes, there's railroad tracks that run right through the back, so you can see trains too.
Yeah, there's an actual platform station there, which I didn't get to go to, in case the viewers were wondering. But getting back to the layout at hand, I know I'm getting off subject a little bit, but I like how you did the. I see the green string over here.
So that's Berkshire Junction makes that. It's actually for that.
And
so that's like, it's supposed to mimic copper wire.
Oh, okay. But then I see.
I wanted a little heavier gauge, but I also wanted to be. So this is also elastic.
Oh wow!
So this is actually just. This is just elastic cord. And it's for bead making. Anybody that does beading. So this is actually sold at Michael's, and they sell it in the spools like this.
I would have never even thought of that.
And then what I'll do is you can kind of get because I tested a little area here. I'm going to hit it with some rust wash to give it to kind of take the shine away from it a little bit.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean this took 2 weekends just to string these, and I have not done yet. Once I get the landscape here, there's actually wires that'll go across tier 2 with the rest of these poles.
Okay.
To look like, you got distribution that way and distribution out to the grid, this way.
Right.
But all the trucks you can see, again, I added all the lighting to the booms. Like, this guy here is working on this transformer.
Oh, man, that is nice.
So I added those. I got this guy here working on the transformer here, but he's just got his one work light on the side. And then, these guys going out to a job, so they've got their flashers on. Not that, anybody knows utility trucks, they'll have their flashers on, but they're not going to have all their work lights on. But, I wanted to do some lighting. I added all the headlights, tail lights. I built the trailer that's got the poles on it. All these spools. So all these spools of wire that you see, those are actually sewing bobbins.
Oh, wow.
So, again, found them on eBay for, they were pennies. So, and then that's just more cording that they use for the
sewing bobbins. Wow.
I buy a lot of stuff from Michael's. I used to buy a lot of stuff from AC Moore, but I'm kind of sad when they went out of business. But you'd be amazed at stuff you can find. All the transformers, they're just wooden dowels. So I take wood dowel, cut it to size. I use a pair of pliers to actually crimp in the little detail. And then that's an insulated washer. Anybody's ever done like electrical work.
Oh, yeah.
You got an insulated washer, has the rubber gasket on the bottom of this. Yep. So I glue those on, paint it all, add a little bead for the top. These are just chicken wire cut. These old ones were actually points from like when you do glazing. And then fencing, same thing. Fencing is all, a type of wire that I use for it's got the little diamond shape. And then this is just fencing. I cut it down, grind it what I said in size, add the little cross members. So I make my chain link fence very inexpensive. And I can make it at 4-foot pieces at a time.
Yeah, because I see how much that woodland scenic fencing is.
Oh my God, it's a fortune. So,
how did you make that trailer? That's so realistic. You did a good job.
So
with
that trailer is, I bought a die-cast tub grinder at a show years ago, damaged.
Okay.
So if anybody's seen any of my maintenance away cars, my tie thing, so that's the boom from it I used on there. I just kind of, used pieces. So that was the last piece left that I had in my cabinet. That was the triaxle piece underneath the trailer on the bottom. So I just added some, diamond plate styrene on top, glued it together. And I've never seen a trailer. The most I've ever seen them pulling behind is like 3 telephone poles. But, my company's a little different. They have one that can pull.
I think it's neat. I like it.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And then you got the storage, the rest of the storage poles there. Your transformers. Same thing here. All the wires, just, I take wire and I use stranded copper wire, but what I'll do is I'll strip it and then pull all the strands apart. And then I'll take 2 or 3 strands, put them in a drill, turn it so they twist together to make,
I gotta ask you, how are you doing your decaling? It looks so good.
So again, it's the same thing. I do it all on my computer, just in regular Word.
Okay.
So that I'm happy with it. I used to try to print it myself, but my printer wasn't that great. So I actually, everybody knows from videos, I'm a builder by trade. So I have a printing company I deal with that does all my blueprints.
Oh.
So I happened to just be in there one day. I said, are you capable of printing these? He goes, yeah. He goes, my machines here are $100,000 machines. He goes, yes, and so I just put it on a thumb drive. I take it to him. It already has to be sized and everything because he's just a printer.
Right, yeah.
So he just pops it in. I have decal paper that now I leave at his shop. And then I left the spray cans too because you have to seal them when they're done. So he actually does everything for me. So I'll drop it off and he'll be like, yeah, come back like around 4 o'clock today. It'll be done. He'll print out the thing. He'll spray it, seal it, hands it to me. And he doesn't even charge me just because I do so much volume and blueprints.
Oh, okay.
He's like, you're supplying the papers. Why? Because it literally is taking me 10 minutes to print these things out. So that's all my decals are all done, that way. But I mean, if you have a home printer, either a laser jet or an inkjet, just make sure you buy the right paper because Micromark sells decal paper, but you have to make sure to either get it for inkjet or you get it for laser jet.
Oh, okay.
And then just make sure you seal it afterwards, or else when you use the liquid, you'll take the ink right off the.
Right.
Yeah, those are all. I've got all the numbers in there. I've got all the DOT numbers. I've got.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And the license plates because my company's supposed to be like a Virginia-based type thing, so those license plates are actually a Virginia license plate, and that DOT number is actually a Virginia DOT number. And even the same as the IBW, the local union, that 406 is their local union. Like I researched to get the proper local union number out there.
And how do you get the decal? Decals have that film on them. I mean, it doesn't even look like it's got.
Again, I use clear decal. And white's very easy to hide. It's just black lettering on white or clear decal.
Yeah.
And then the signboard, the same thing with the lights going. Those are just chase lights that Minitronic sells. The little arrow board.
Yeah, let me swap spots with you, and we'll get that on video. Yeah, very nice. Now, how are you powering all these lights up? Are they lit from
right down there? So I use that transformer. That's actually that puts out 12 volt AC. Those are actually the big transformers you use for outdoor lighting.
Okay.
So they're 600 watt. So they put a lot of power out. I do an inline fuse. Okay. So that, in case there's some type of spike or something, I don't blow everything out. It will pop that fuse instead. That's a good idea. Well, you've got to. Because if not, if you don't use a fuse, well, you do. So if you don't use a fuse, the bulb's the fuse. So, the last thing you want to do is blow. So you definitely use that. But we have, so that's how many lights on the layout. We have 6 of those 600 watt transformers.
Oh my God.
that power all the lights on our layout.
Got 6 of those things, huh? This is incredible. I really like how this is coming along.
Detailed all the inside the trucks with the little compressor and ladders, the transformers, all the wires. Even on the buckets in the back, because I added the little. If anybody's ever seen, bucket trucks.
Oh yeah.
They have a little air hose that comes out so they can use like their air tools and stuff.
Yep.
So I put the little bucket, on the back that holds all the tools. Got the little air hose in there.
Well, a lot of them carry an air power saw with them, so if they got to cut some tree limbs away to get to where they got to go. And are you making your own poles too?
Yeah, these are just, so this is just a 3/8 inch dowel. These are a little heavier than I use. Typically I use a 1/4 inch dowel for telephone poles, but obviously this is the distribution poles, so a little heavier.
Right.
And then those are just, these particular insulators are just the beads, but instead here I use sequins. And that's how I get that particular insulator look. And then again, the metal bar, the holding it together, is just chicken wire that I cut the pieces out. And then, you take to get that look on the thing, you use a razor saw. Scrape it before you stain it. And then the stain I use on these is just an India ink wash. I do use oak dowels.
Okay.
It's because I think the oak has more of a realistic grain, like a telephone pole.
Yeah.
And again, Home Depot, yes, they have all different size kinds of dowels. But there, that's all. So again, it took me to make all those poles, because there's a hell of a lot of insulators on there.
Yeah, see that.
That probably took me 2 weekends. And then you'll see there's different types of transformers. So, like these transformers, you see these little ones? They serve a purpose because, again, the LEDs have a resistor on them. And that's where I hide the resistor. The resistor is actually tucked up underneath in there. Yeah, you can, from Evans, you can order your lights. So, like, I order my lights to go up to, because, LEDs are DC. They're DC powered. So, I want everything AC powered. So, it's all the same. So, I order my LEDs that they have a rectifier on them. And so, they're good up to 19 volt AC. And then that way there's no, it's more expensive to buy it that way. You could buy you could buy resistors, you could buy the rectifiers, and just buy LEDs, do it yourself. But it's a huge time saver, to just, and this is a hobby. I don't have time to sit down and spend a weekend just soldering on resistors and stuff. So I order them from Evans that way.
You did a good job on the headlights, I'll tell you that. It looks pretty good.
So what I do is the little lenses that come on them always break off. So what I do is I drill them out. I lose the lenses, put the bulb in there. Once everything's set and good to go, I actually use clear silicone and just put it on there and thumb it off, and I create a new lens with the silicone.
Oh, that's how you're doing it. So cool. I've actually seen those things, those trailers.
Yeah, so that trailer scratch built. That's all styrene. The same thing. This was another. I think this was another auger truck, but it came in damaged, broken.
Okay.
So I took off. Like I save everything. Like here's all the booms and everything from all that. But yeah, it came in broken. So I was like, something. I'll turn it into a flatbed. And I had a boatload of those cones. Those cones are all 3D printed. I had a crap load of those, so I just made it like a truck they would use for traffic.
Wow. Even the forklift has all the proper lighting on it.
So the forklift, again, that's just a Woodland Scenics piece. So I add the little chip lights, little flasher to it. Of course, you gotta squeeze everything down in size. That little it's not enough room to unload a truck.
Yeah.
but hey, you gotta use your imagination. Even the little boxes, I make the little boxes, little cardboard boxes. I actually have a template that I made that I can just put on like cardstock, cut it out, glue it together, make some boxes.
Wow.
This building's the only building that I didn't scratch build. That's actually the guy that I got these modules from. That was just one of his buildings. Kind of liked it, thought it was kind of cool. So I did, do some modifications to it. I added the porch around it, the little, unloading dock. Added the signage, added the little skylight.
I think that, this kind of detail makes everything. It just makes the whole...
Well, it's always been, I've always said our goal is to make this layout look like its home layout that we travel with. Which, the only way to do that, as you can see, we just got a new trailer, so now we have 2 trailers sitting outside there. Because, to do that, all of these, nothing, I could take these modules and flip them over. Nothing's going to fall off. So, we build racks to put these things in, but, you need space but because that's the only way you can do it. These have to be able to just be pulled out, plug and play. I mean, when I first joined the club, all the detail you saw in everybody's modules all had to be put on and set at every show.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I don't think, I didn't necessarily come up with this concept, but I just came up with the fact that I was like, I've got to make it a way that I can transport them finished, and then you're just plugging them together. So like every single person you see, just to make sure the stuff doesn't fall off, I drill a pin in the bottom of their foot, and then I set them with a CA glow. So everything's pretty tough on here. All the trucks, the same thing. I actually drive a screw into the bottom of them, glue it to there, cut the head off, and then set it, and it's like a pin holding it into the layout.
Okay. So you don't have to put these trucks on or nothing?
No, this is everything's mounted.
Oh, wow. That saves a lot of time setting up.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, but you need, because each one of these racks is going to have a space that's probably, 16 inches deep. So
right.
You're only getting maybe 3 modules per rack. You can fit about 6 racks, and we use 14-foot trailers. So now the club total has 4 trailers. I have 2 of them here. Just happens to be that another member lives close, so it shows, he'll come grab 1 trailer, I take 1 trailer.
Wow. And so this is going to be your 3 main lines right here, correct?
Yep, 4 main lines. This is the 4th main line.
Oh, 4th
line.
one.
So it just happens to be the 4th main line runs through the actual plant.
Okay.
But like if we're doing the coal, the coal dump, we'll
right.
just so that's why you see like this red light here. It's even though it's on all, or no, this is the green light, flashing green light. Which one is that?
It's red.
Oh, that's the red, flashing red. So that'll be like to know that track 4 is stopped. Like you can't go through, and then because you're using it just for the rotary coal.
Right. And this siding is going to take
this siding takes you into the rotary coal. Well, this is actually the exit for the rotary coal. The coal dumper is designed that it has to be fed one direction, which it's from that direction this way. So this is just the siding. So that'll just be, we'll sit an engine on there, or cars or something. And then this is the siding that goes to the rotary coal, the exit for the rotary coal. So yeah, so these tracks, can constantly have trains running on them. You could have a train running on track 4 if you're not doing switching and stuff, which is how we do it now. If guys want to switch and play, in some of the areas, then you just don't run on 4.
Okay.
Track 1 is always, that's usually always Fred. So Fred's the guy that you always see that has the 4 million cars.
Yeah.
And the 92 engines up front.
Hey, I like the long trains actually myself.
I don't have a problem with it. I actually, because he's on that track all weekend because it takes him half of the day Saturday to set his train up. So, but the kids love it. You sit there and watch them counting the cars and.
Because when you go to look at a real life-size Norfolk Southern train, especially out west, the Union Pacific stuff, you're going to have 6, 8 locomotives and 100 cars that's pulling and DPUs and so.
Yeah, no, he runs. You need to lay out this size to. Typically he's usually 4 or 5 engines up front. He does have a distributed power sometimes on him, and then he's got. Sometimes he's had 100 cars, but usually he's at least 80 cars.
He's had 100 cars?
He's had a 100-car train on there.
Oh, wow.
You go any more than that, you're going to have the engine chasing the back of the train.
Yeah.
But the layout's 42 by 52, so you can run a pretty good-sized train on there.
Yeah, I do like his long trains. Matter of fact, you guys call them long train?
I don't know.
I think that's what he was telling me one time.
Well, I guess Fred would know because he's got a nephew who's a Norfolk Southern engineer.
Really?
And that's how Fred catches all the coolest things because his nephew will tell him, like this particular heritage unit's going to be, running out of Harrisburg today, and I should be because Fred lives in Lebanon, PA. So he'll be like, I should be passing through Lebanon, 2 2:30, you know, and so Fred goes out and gets some good shots.
That is nice, though. I'm eyeing up this water tower because I don't think that was here the last time I was
Now,
here.
water tower it was here, but it was black.
Oh,
so that's a Walter. That's actually a Walter. So that's another piece that was John's, who these models belong to. So I repainted it. I fixed it first of all because it was in a bunch of pieces. I added the light at the bottom, so it's got a light that kind of just will shine to the area.
Okay.
Lettered it, painted it, you know, for Julian Apparel Company. And I don't know. I kind of like the blue. It's one of those, and I don't think I'm going to weather that too much. I think I'm going to make that like they just repainted it.
I like that blue. Actually, my town has that exact same color blue water tower.
Well, a lot of times when you see water towers, they're blue.
Yeah.
Like when you drive, like I do a lot of work in Bay Head, Lavalette, so they all have water towers. And matter of fact, the Lavalette water tower is basically that color blue.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm right now I'm literally working on the ocean on a house that I know when I see that water tower, that's where I turn left. Because it's turned left at the water tower. so it's,
And I'm looking at the conveyor here. Looks like they got the coal going in.
yeah, coal's going up on it. So those again, that conveyor is I bought them from Shapeways. They actually make I searched in the engine 1/48 scale conveyor. There you go. They have them. So take this. I painted that green. You can see I'll paint all the spool areas silver. Use electrical tape for the conveyor belt. And then, once it's all done, put the coal on, glue it on, and then glue the roof on.
Wow.
So stuff like that, it just saves you time, because
Yeah.
to make all these would have been. And then that, the walkway is the same thing. I use the same wire I use on the fences.
Wow.
So this whole area in the back where you see this double, just two, nothing will ever run on there. That was a picture I actually found of an old power plant that did. So what I did is I happened to Google rotary coal dumps because I wanted to kind of see what the area looked like around. And I came to this power plant. I don't even know where, but they must have added a rotary, new to the power plant. But before that, they actually had a rail that came in and had a drop off where they dropped the coal from underneath. And then it would have these augers that turn and push it into the plant.
Okay.
So I saw that. I was like, oh, I like that. So that whole back area is going to be like the old track. So that's going to be really weathered up. I'm going to have bushes and grass growing out. Like it's, not
like
used anymore.
Yeah, okay.
And that area here that you see over here, look at past here, I'll show you.
All right.
This is going to be the old drop off.
Oh, wow. Look at that.
And then I'll cut all this and make it look like it's just rusted. There's the augers. There's another Shapeway piece. And then when you look down here, you'll actually be able to see the auger detail going into the old, this is how this would have been fed back then. Now it's fed from the rotary coal. So your imagination is that, this conveyor takes up and feeds the plant, but then also access coal or excess coal will be taken along this conveyor that goes and drops down to, a make-believe underground storage facility. So that there's, and then there's piping that'll go up here that's a larger pipe that'll go and fed that same thing, you pretend there's an off the layout storage.
Okay. Well, that thought I got it. And good.
So, you just imagine that there's an off the layout water tank, so that's what these pipes will carry to fill that tank that basically just holds the water for its daily use. So they'll replenish that tank as it gets, because the power plant's really fed from gravity. But, they pump in water to fill that tank.
Oh, okay.
And then, this coal is coming up, feeding the plant, but then also feeding this other conveyor that'll run along here to an off the layout storage facility. And then this is where the track just severs because they cut the track. That other building you saw, which is in on the bench in there, but there's another building that's a porch that goes on here that's got the smokestacks and everything on them.
Oh yeah, I remember that building from the last time I was here.
Yeah, that sits in this area. So basically, you can see where the track just continues here like the end, and then they severed it here to build this the new building.
Okay.
So that's kind of the.
That makes sense. So when people come to visit this layout at the train show, I'm going to assume this part here will be the part that will be facing them.
Yes, yeah, the crowd is so. That's what this little piece of oak out here in this channel. This is actually anybody who's seen the layout. That's where the plexiglass sits. So it sits in that channel.
Okay.
So yeah, so the view will be from this way. So that's why I've detailed all the insides here. You know, same thing that these windows will be big windows like this building, so that you'll see because that's where the boilers are going to sit. I've got 4 big boilers I'm going to scratch build that are going to go in there. Remember, this is the condensating unit.
Yeah.
So this will all be lit inside so that you can see that condensating unit.
Wow.
These modules will definitely be, you know, this is I think my best work.
And if I remember right, you're going to run your coal yard as dead rail?
Yeah, I'm going to use the dead. I'll either use the dead rail or I'll use these pieces. So these are, you know, like this is the Giuliano Power Company's in-house switching engine. This I actually scratch built out of Lion Chief pieces. I gotta tell you, I love those things because there's you can actually control them pretty well, but it's a Bluetooth, so there's no, you know, sometimes at the show we have issues with the command control.
Yeah.
Just because I think it's just too big. These things, because it's just basically the remote talks to the engine, so they actually respond very well. So I might use that to you know move around. This was I forget what it was when I first bought it, but I cut it apart, added all the different thing. I've got lights on here that, you know, flash. So I'll either use that or the dead rail piece. You know, this is my one dead rail piece in the back. You just need to be able to have precise control onto the rotary cold dump, or you'll spend all day trying to line it up. You know, you don't want something, you know, the TMCC and the DCS sometimes gets a little jumpy at the shows.
Oh.
It's great on a home layout, but sometimes sometimes at our shows, the DCS won't respond, period. The TMCC seems to be okay, but I found that the TMCC can get a little lungy sometimes when you're trying to go like 1 or 2 miles an hour. The dead rail, forget me. I could crawl that thing around the layout 1 mile an hour, and it'll never. It responds very well.
Oh, just wanted to mention that Millhouse River Studios actually sold the last video I made on the explanation of their rotary cold dump.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they really appreciated that.
Yeah, they're good guy. He's a good guy there. I mean, he's I think what's his name, Rich Al.
Al, that's
Al.
it.
He when I first bought this thing, I couldn't get it to work, and it turned out that in transport it just had a wire that popped off. And when I got him on the phone, he was on the phone with me for like an hour. I had my phone on speaker, sitting on the layout, and he's like, "All right, go to the control panel." And it's all on the pictures that came, but, you know, of course, I'm one of those that doesn't read all the way through the instructions. And he's like, all right, he goes, you know, he knows these things in and out. He's like, from the left to right, you should have blue wire, you know, red wire, green wire. And I'm like, and finally it was like, oh, there it is. He's like, all right, put that wire back in this terminal and blah, blah, blah. And it worked, you know. So this is going to be... This building here is going to be like a little tiny switch tower on the 3rd floor that obviously controls the interlocking to move. This is going to be offices. So again, I could show you, I bought from Shapeways, I bought like little roll top desks and chairs and copy machine and all these different, you know, pieces. So these will all be fully detailed inside. You'll see the offices, you'll see the control tower up here. That's going to be the operations control tower where they actually control the dump. So you'll see those through the windows. I have these stanchions that sit with the chairs where the guys sit and control the. So that's why all the windows are so big, because I want you to be able to see inside.
Okay.
Even the windows. So those windows are scratch built because nobody makes a window that big. So those are actually, again, they're all chicken wire. I cut chicken wire to size. take the chicken wire cover out. I haven't ground them down yet, and then the panel I take out here is actually the panel that lifts, and then I just build a frame that goes around it, and then put the glazing behind it once it's done. But I mean, I think they came out pretty nice. But I like the fact, because I want you to be able to see inside the building.
Yeah. This is
But even that little shed over there, you see, if you look inside there, the whole inside of that little shed is detailed.
really? Oh yeah, I see it. I'll try and capture it with the camera here, since we. I mean, you pour a lot of details into this, into all the modules, actually.
Well, that's what you want. You want like even like the water, standing water up top. Anybody that's ever been on a flat roof after a rainstorm, there's no standing water up there.
Yeah.
Because none of those roofs run off right, which is why most of those they leak.
Yeah.
And that's again is the water. It's Mod Podge. It makes a great source for water.
Yeah, you got quite far from the last visit.
I've slowed down a little bit with building the bridges because it's all styrene, so it takes time to put those together and glue them all. But now that I've got those done, I'm taking a 4-day weekend, 4th of July weekend. So my goal is to get that building bricked on that time, and maybe even get the rough end of the boilers. Work on this module. The last module or piece I'm working on is the one with the stacks, because that's got smoke units and everything in it for the stacks of smoke. Those are going to take some time. I do have one smokestack done in there that I added the lights to it and everything, so I'll show that to you.
Okay, that sounds good.
But yeah, no, I mean, when the thing's done, it's gonna be pretty cool. Looks really cool when the lights are on. It's dark.
Wow. Well, the viewers who do attend the Greenberg show in Edison have something to look forward to in November. That's for sure.
As long as we're in the show. I mean, that's the only issue with.
I've heard that because it's not under the same ownership anymore, and I've heard that the new owner is kind of like slow responding. So
he is he's which is I get it. I don't even know if it's his full-time job. Maybe
right? Yeah.
But, it's just nice to know that. Because we certainly don't do it for the money. I mean, we do it because we want to show off the layout.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine you guys not being in the show.
I would think the only time we're not in the show is one issue we have against this is the size of our layout. So it's hard for him to fit it in. So that would be the only reason that, because I know, he also tries to get multiple scales there. So sometimes we just don't fit. Sometimes he's able to use that other side if there's not another show. So he'll put us over there, which personally I kind of like. Some of the guys think that's like, no man's land. I personally kind of like operating over there because we have less trouble because there's, it's. I really think it's all the cell phones that interfere with our signal.
I've heard the same similar stories from others that tried to run there.
The other thing I like about that area is you're right at the ramp. So when it's time to leave, you're literally right at the ramp. So, and the only time it is a winter show because as soon as they start opening that door, it gets cold quick. So, and this will be, I scratch built this piece. It's even got the little, but that sits here. So it's basically just the way that the conveyor dives into here. It looks like that's where it drops the thing. This ladder will be here. And then there'll be lights that run down the side of this to light the, light the ladder.
Now, is that a Tichy ladder?
This is Plastruck.
Plastruck, okay.
Yeah. And that's, I don't know why. I've been ordering, because I've been ordering a lot of stuff from, as you can see, from Plastruck. And some things, like, I can't get these in the styrene right now. They only have those in the ABS. I don't know if it's a manufacturing issue there, but, you know, every time I place an order, I'll get an email back, don't have this, but I can substitute this. And it's usually them substituting the ABS for the styrene.
Well, you can join us over at the truck shop repair world because we get the same thing. Can't get you filters, can't get you alternator, can't get you this, can't get you that.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, no, well, it's the same thing in my industry. Like right now, they're having a hard time with some of the trims inside, which I don't understand because it's Garden State Millwork that manufactures it, which is a local company. But it was like 3 weeks ago, you know, UC41, which is a very standard crown, couldn't get it. And nobody had it. Like every place that they delivered, because basically all the lumber yards get from Garden State. So none of them had any. It's just crazy. You're like, how? It's an MDF manufactured piece. Like, how do they not have it?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, you hear all different excuses. You know, they can't get the glues that they need. They can't get the, you know.
Well, this crazy state of New Jersey, which is where we're filming this, I mean, this is a true story. So we ordered trailers back in 2021 for 2022. They finally got built, and these are refrigerated trailers. And the trailers finally get built, right? And then they're telling us that New Jersey changed the laws on foams, and the foam they use is not New Jersey approved, so now they can't sell the trailers to us. So, and then they ask us, do you have a terminal in another state, and they can sell it to us through another state. I mean, this is just crazy stuff. Like you said, between glues and foams and certain chemicals that get banned. And this is what you have.
It is crazy. I mean, it's the same thing like with my one truck. I have one truck that has to have DOT numbers, and because it's, you know, it's over the weight limit. So my DOT number, because I don't go out of state, so my DOT number just covers me for in-state traveling. I can't do interstate.
Right.
But the dumpsters, if I need a new dumpster, there's a company literally right over the border in Pennsylvania that they're just cheaper to buy them from there. And I can't drive across the border, go pick this. It's not like I'm doing business and I'm just going to pay and coming back. So literally they drive it across on one of their trucks, meet me at like a rest stop or something in New Jersey, and that's where we make the transfer at because I can't drive. I'm like, how silly is that? Like, you know.
Yeah.
I could understand if I was trying to do business without, you know, and running stuff across, but I'm just going to pick something up.
Yeah. And, you know, for the viewers on video, sorry if it sounds like we're getting into politics. It really isn't. It's just real world situation right now. So that's what we're all facing.
Well, it's why we have this hobby.
Yeah, exactly.
Because after a week of working what we put up with, if I didn't have something to calm down like this, I'd kill somebody. So.
Well, I mean, just imagine, you know, I'm in the same situation trying to fix trucks, and, you know, the dispatchers are screaming down at the shop, hey, I need this truck. Why isn't it going? What's going on here? You mean to tell me you can't get the parts for this? I find that impossible. And, you know, so, and then if it's not the dispatcher, then you have the driver saying, I want my truck. He doesn't want to drive anything else, and I don't blame him because you don't want to sleep in anybody else's bed. So that's why, exactly. That's why you have this hobby, so you don't go and kill somebody.
Yeah, I don't have those problems in this world.
Yeah, exactly. Mine, the one that I built, I don't have them either.
The trucks, on this one, the trucks always run. All the guys actually show up for work every day.
Yeah, that's another one.
Put in a hard day's labor.
Now you got people calling off because they can't afford the gas to get to work.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah.
So
that I do feel their pain. I can't even imagine. You know, I mean, I've only got, you know, 6 trucks, and only one of them's diesel. And I mean, we're blowing through $3,000 a month of fuel. I can't imagine with some of these big truck companies.
Oh yeah, and then you got the cost of the depth fluid. Don't forget that for the.
Yeah. Well, luckily again, you know, the one truck I have is that Isuzu out there, so that thing is so efficient that I maybe fill that def tank once a month.
Well, I'm gonna put a little plug in for Isuzu, even though this is not an Isuzu video. But as a diesel mechanic, if you're looking for a small truck like that, the Isuzu is the best one to get. I've seen them things go 300,000 and 400,000 miles without no problem.
300,000 and 400,000. There's a company up here that is a produce company. I forget the name of it, but they happen to get. I mean, they've got about 50 of them, and they happen to get them serviced where I get my truck serviced at. And I was talking to a guy one day, and he goes, "They have trucks that have over 1 million miles on it. They've had to have the liners replaced, and they've had it work, but he's like, those trucks, you can't kill them."
No, you can't. What usually happens to these Isuzu is they'll rot around the cab. The cab will rot out around the engine, that is, before the engine will go. I know guys who had them put hundreds of thousands of miles on them. The only reason why they parked them is because the cab was starting to rot apart.
The only thing I will say, though, is that they could have, thank God it's, I don't drive far with mine, because it is by far the most uncomfortable truck I've ever ridden in my life. I have a headache and my back hurts by the time I get out of that truck. But maneuverability, I could put that truck just about anywhere.
And it's funny that you have internationals out front like this, because I actually did work for an international dealer for about 4 years, and I remember working on bucket trucks and stuff like that. I was their heavy duty mechanic. And
well, your choices with New Ray anyway are just the internationals, or I think that's a Freightliner down there. The service truck. I think they only put them on Freightliner chassis and international chassis. But the only reason I did that one as a Freightliner, I just wanted that truck a little different than the rest.
But, yeah, I worked on quite a few of these things, believe it or not. I even worked on one Rail Gear international trucks. My main job there was to work on the bigger stuff, but sometimes what they call the medium duty truck, the utility trucks, and bucket trucks and rail gear trucks would come in, and I would work on them too. They had other guys to work on the school buses. I really didn't want nothing to do with them.
And then anybody wondering too, all my power distribution areas here, obviously I didn't scratch build those. Those are all Woodland Scenics. These.
Oh, okay.
So those 4 were from Woodland Scenics. They do a really nice job.
Yeah.
They're not cheap. They're definitely not cheap.
I was lining up, you even have it looks like lighting back here.
Yeah, no, I have lights. I added lights to the truck. I added them up on the boom.
Well, I meant on the transformer itself.
Yeah, no, so those 2 that face that way have a red light, and then I added, so they just, just to, because in life those would have a light on to show that they're active.
Ah, okay. All my knowledge is in the trucks, not the a power transfer station. I mean, you got lots of details. You did a lot of work here already.
Well, I mean, I'm out here every weekend, especially during the summer. My wife and kids. My wife manages a beach club, and my kids work there. My one daughter works there, so.
Yeah, the spectators got a lot to look forward to in November. And of course, I'm always out there shooting videos, so for those who live far away can't attend the show, well, of course, I'll have video that I'll bring back from the show.
Bring some engines with you so you can run on the layout again.
There we go. And I do appreciate you guys letting me do that. I had a ton of fun.
Well, listen, like I said, any show, you're more welcome. You're a knowledgeable guy with the train, so we don't mind, because it's not like we have to babysit you. You know what you're doing, so pick a track, you're on it and have fun. Yeah, we've had some people that have come as guests, and you've got to program the train for them, and you've got to do everything. So it's you actually taught a couple of our members a couple of things about the TMCC. So I know nothing about the TMCC and the DCS. I used to know about the, but I haven't used the DCS in so many years. So people ask me questions. I'm like, I don't remember. And I've never had TMCC. I never had Lionel. So I couldn't even begin to tell you how to program those things.
And I'm looking across the way here, and I probably should just step over there and probably do it this way. Looks like you got actual pictures you used.
Yes. Well, that's how I did. So I downloaded, those are the trucks that are near me, JCP&L.
Okay.
So that's where I got the color scheme to paint the backs and kind of, pulled it, everything off. Get some color. I wanted to do that line striping, but I was like, that's too much work, so I just did the solid red.
Solid red, okay.
And then,
oh yeah,
got all the different kind of pictures of trucks. That's how I do all the stuff I do. I pull the pictures off, kind of get an idea, modify it a little bit, but.
That's the one thing. Couple things I want to do with my own layout. I mean, coming here has been like an inspiration. I do want to try my hands at adding lights to a couple of my cars, and I definitely want to install telephone poles and wires. I think that would make my layout pop a little bit more than what it is now. I mean, obviously, I don't spend a lot of time on my layout during the winter because I'm always out at the train shows. I spend most of my time on the layout during the summertime.
So you're opposite.
Yeah.
Most people.
yeah, exactly.
Most people, it's a winter sport. Me, it's a year-round sport. Unless it's something really where it's a beautiful day and I've got something I want to go do. But once it gets really hot, I've been lucky so far. I haven't had to turn the air conditioning on in here. It's been so nice. But once it gets crazy hot and humid here, why would I want to be outside?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so I turned the air conditioning on in here and just get some work done.
Yeah, because I never had time to work on my own layout during the wintertime because I'm always at a train show, which I do like being at train shows and talking to people.
That's one of the reasons I enjoy the Greenberg show so much. It's listen, we could eventually maybe find a spot, and I do. I belong to the New Jersey Hi-Railers up in Patterson, but I like talking to people, so I like the large crowds that you get with the Greenberg. Even when we have the open houses at New Jersey Hi-Railers, we get a couple hundred people, which is good but and they're more there to look, so they don't talk to us as much as like the Greenberg show. I literally have no voice by the end of the Greenberg show. Because first of all, they come up and they ask questions, and everybody in the club now goes, "Go talk to him."
Go talk to him.
so it's like they ask me questions, and I've met a lot of interesting people. You'd be amazed the people we get, because one of the questions I always ask everybody at the Greenberg show, "Where are you from?" I've had people, Ohio, Nebraska. That's some of the, they're not here just for the train show. They happen to be here for something else, and they saw it, so they just came to look. And everybody I've talked to, they're all like, I have never seen anything like this that travels to a show. They're like, this thing's insane. There are a few of them. There was a guy from Colorado once who came, so he's like, there's a lot of 0-30 like narrow gauge clubs.
Oh.
He goes, theirs are pretty detailed. He goes, those narrow gauge guys get pretty crazy too. And if you do look online, they do have some crazy stuff. But as far as 3-rail, O gauge, I don't really know anybody else that's got something as detailed as this. Again, that travels.
Right.
It's easy to have something like this on a home layout. But we've got running water. We've got things that The only thing that's funny, the only remarks I get all the time on Instagram, there was just the other day, a guy goes, "Your detail is amazing. If you spend as much time on that as you do your track work," because I get it. It's 3-rail. It looks fake, but we're a 3-rail club. I could eliminate the center rail. I don't need it. My dead rail, but it's going to be a static display if that's not there, and we're certainly not switching over to a 2-rail.
Right.
It's too expensive.
Well, and hopefully the viewers don't hate me for saying this, but hence the word high rail, meaning it's 3 rail.
Yeah.
So I am a big, huge high rail fan myself. And again, high rail being, everything's, 148 scale dimensions, because some people not sure what high rail actually means, but because you have those who run like traditional, and then you have the high railers like you, the club and the independent high railers. There's a few clubs out there that are high rail exclusively. And you guys, I just want to say that the clubs like the Raritan Valley Hi-Railers have inspired me. When I first got back in air gauge back in 2015, just by going to these train shows, and I'm like, yeah, that's the way I'm going. I want to do high rail. I want to stick to all scale stuff and stuff like this.
I mean, even my dead rail, I didn't go full scale. Full scale would be where you do the smaller flanges, you do the lower, weight rail. You have the regular, you put the KD scale couplers on. I didn't go that crazy because I wanted to be able to go between. I can run 2 rail, I can run 3 rail, but I wanted to be able to, if I wanted to switch out with other members' cars and stuff, because some of our guys do have scale couplers on their cars, but most of them still run the lobster claws. And it's not, they're toys. No matter what you do at the end of the day, they're toys.
Yeah.
So it's not a real. That's my favorite line, because you get these rivet counters and they'll come up at shows. That's how I always shut them down, because they'll come up and they'll be like, when I used to run the all my stuff used to be CNJ, Central New Jersey. That's what all my things are all converted all to CNJ. So, and they'll be like, the CNJ never had an engine with the bell in that location. My favorite line, I always look at them, I used to say, CNJ never had an engine that size either. And you can tell that they're like, and they just sit there and they put their head down and just walk away. Like, I don't want to play this game. That size either.
That's just hilarious. I like that.
I used to carry a tape measure with me, just as a joke, because you get people that will come up and they'll really start staring at stuff, and I used to tap them with a tape measure. I'd be like, 3 foot rule.
3 foot rule. I mean, even though I'm looking at this here with you in person, I can't wait to see this at the show either.
Well, I can't. I wish that my shop was big enough that I could do more than 3 modules in a row. I just can't.
Yeah.
Used to be when that bench wasn't there, I could run them diagonal. No, I can't wait to see it together, linear either.
Yeah, it's going to look good.
I can't wait to shoot some video on it. I mean, I like shooting. I don't shoot videos like you shoot. All my videos are all a minute and less. I love shooting. The trains coming through the scenes. And those seem to be the things. Yeah, I always laugh because, like right now on my Instagram, I've got about 8,000 something followers, but wow. I'm actually losing followers because it's just the diehards that want to see this, but people want to see trains run. So anytime I shoot a video that there's a train running, so most of my videos when I post something, I'll get like 200 views, 300 views. When it's a train running, 1,000, 1,200 views, 1,500. It's like people just like to see things move.
Yeah.
And I actually haven't even sometimes I just shoot a video with just running a train on these little bit, and those get more views than if I sit there and explain how I did something. Those are just there's certain people that only just want to see that. So I need the August show so that I can shoot some video and boost my numbers back up again.
There you go.
We started that Instagram probably about, I started it, I don't know, probably about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And, we've got about 8,000 something followers on there,
That's awesome. And
that's what I always tell people, too, on there, because I'll always, like a couple of weeks before a show, usually do a post that has the Greenberg logo or the New Jersey Hi-Railers logo and say we got a show coming. And I'm always like, hey, when you come up and visit the layout, come by, say hi, and let us know you follow us on Instagram. And I've met a lot of Instagram people, that they'll be like, I'm so and so on Instagram. I'm like, oh man, because you have conversations with them. Well, you get comments and stuff.
Yes.
But you're talking to some of these people and you have no idea where or who they are. So it's nice to meet some of them at the shows.
Yeah, I've actually met people through Dakman Productions on YouTube through comments and stuff like that, and they'll stop off and talk to me.
Oh yeah, I mean it's like that's how we met. I mean, for years we saw you coming and shooting the videos, and finally it's like, hey, let me introduce myself.
Well, Matt, I really appreciate you showing everybody your updates, and looking forward to, well, I should say tentatively, I don't want to get everybody's hopes up, but you're looking for around November of getting everything up and running.
November show. So we definitely know, the August show is happening, but we haven't gotten confirmation yet, but I mean, we have our paperwork in. The November show is on their website, so they are having the November show, but they don't allow you to apply now. I think it's 2 months in advance you can apply, and then they'll let you know the month of. So like we probably won't know that we're even in the August show till end of July, beginning of August. So beyond that, I don't know what shows they're having.
Okay. Well, appreciate your time and having me come out here and film all this.
Absolutely.
And we'll catch you guys trackside. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys later.